What's good, people? Sam O'Reilly from Fight Talk, bored at work. So today I want to talk about yesterday's press conference, Haye Bellew, the highlights and my opinions on them. I'm going to start with David Haye, what he said about Eddie Hearn. In many ways he's right. Eddie Hearn is in front of the camera a lot, which hasn't happened in the past. Previously, it was the fighters allowed to develop and stuff. Not that Eddie stunts them. I don't believe he stunts them. Maybe they just need bigger personalities out there to come forward. I don't necessarily think it's a negative thing that Eddie Hearn is accessible in as such that he does a lot of interviews with Coogan at IFL. He's a good guy, Eddie. So sometimes he can overstep and say things he shouldn't, and then get stick when the fights don't come off and such. So maybe sometimes it might be better for him to step back and do the business first. But I think it's a lot due to David Haye's frustration with the situation that he kind of needs Matchroom for this big payday, which he does. I don't think there's any doubt about it, because he's not doing massive numbers at the moment. Well, he's doing good numbers, but it's not going to earn him massive money on free-to-air television. So he needs Matchroom for the Sky box office. There's no doubt about that. But maybe it was a little uncalled for the way he went in on Eddie. I don't know. He's obviously got something against Eddie, and he wanted to get it off his chest. The next thing was David Coldwell. What he said about Dave Coldwell was, I found it a little bit harsh. He just carried his t-shirts and he's like Penfold or something like that. But David Coldwell's a top man, and he was also head of boxing at Haymaker. So he was involved a lot in David's success. Maybe not, he didn't train him. Adam Booth was his trainer at the time. But he had a lot of dealings, and I don't think David Haye would have had him involved had he been just someone to carry the t-shirts. I like Dave. I spoke to him a number of times. He takes it with a pinch of salt. It's water off a duck's back for him. He's very thick-skinned. And he's a top bloke. So I thought that was a bit harsh from David Haye. Now I want to talk about the fracas at the end, the push, punch, shove, row that kicked off. It wasn't great. It probably shouldn't happen. It gets numbers, it gets views for people, and it gets people excited. David Haye's reflexes were super quick, man. As soon as he felt two hands on him, bosh, he threw a little quick left hook. Some people had to watch the video 10 times just to see the left hook. It wasn't a massive punch, luckily, because if he breaks Tony Bellew's jaw there, the fight's probably off. So probably a good thing it wasn't a big punch. He shouldn't really be doing that in a press conference either. Anyway, throwing punches is never a good look at a press conference. But it is what it is. It's one of those things, and it's going to build the fight. Eddie Hearn stepped back and let them get close enough for that to happen. It's great for him, and this is going to do big numbers. A lot of real hardcore boxing fans hate the fight. I see it as it's business nowadays. Nothing surprises me with boxing, so it is what it is. Few people have already reached out to me and see if I can get tickets. I'm definitely not someone who can usually get tickets. I've helped out fighters sell and things like that in the past. Nearer the time I might be able to get something done. But it just shows to me a lot of people reaching out to anyone they can to try and get tickets for this fight, because there's a lot of buzz and a lot of hype around it. I still go with my my original prediction, David Haye within 4 rounds. Nothing's changed for me from yesterday. He may be a bit more rattled than people thought, and than we've seen him before. But I think he's a bit pissed off with the whole situation, and Bellew's a bit under his skin, but I don't think that affects the fight for me. So David Haye within round 4. By the end of round 4, I'm sure he'll have Bellew out of there. Let me know what you think. Give me your comments and get back to me.